This is Pete Thomas from Season 2 of NBC's The Biggest Loser, giving you guys a special update on week number 13. This is the couples edition of The Biggest Loser, giving you guys an update. So listen, right off the bat, what we see when we go into the gym, we see that Allie, our normal host Allie, is actually having a little scooter. She's having a little baby, and so she's not there. But Allie Vincent, the first female Biggest Loser, is there to fill in for her. And so she begins to talk about how she lost a lot of weight over a 5-week period at home and how she came back to the ranch and ended up becoming the eventual winner. Hint, hint, because now those contestants who left in the first 3 or 4 weeks, they get to come back onto the show. That's right. So we see David and we see Estella and we see Nicole. They're coming back and they're look. What was that old saying? Oh, you look marvelous, marvelous. They just look awesome. Well, two out of 3 look good. Anyway, so they get up on the scale, and David's done okay, and Estella's just done awesome, and Nicole has knocked it out the box. She just looks marvelous, 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 marvelous. So she gets to stay on the ranch, and she has immunity as long as she does not pick up any weight. And so, but here's the thing. She has lost so much weight, over 80 pounds, that she's the second highest loser of all the contestants. Whoo, that is competition for you. I gotta tell you. So all the other contestants, you know, Tara's number 1, but every other contestant has all of these thoughts going through their mind. Allie just set it up. You know how she came back and ended up winning the thing. You gotta know that these contestants are freaking out. And again, we saw a little bit before that how the contestants are talking about the gameplay. It's getting down to the past, you know, the last few weeks, and you know, everybody's trying to get their alliance together. But here, this woman is coming to mess up everything. And we see that everyone tries to spend a little bit of time with her and talking about this and that and the other and trying to be friends and give her advice. Whew, what a drain. You know, I was on the press call today with Nicole, and she talked about in her home environment, it was just so supportive. She had Damien there, and he would work out with her, and just a beautiful, wonderful environment that allowed her to lose all that weight. Now she's in the middle of all of this stress and all of this nagging. I don't know how she can handle it, even for a week. But anyway, we go from there, and we have a medical emergency. Medic! Yes, medic Sandy is there on the ranch, but the problem is with Ron. He starts to have some heart pains. I'm wondering why it hasn't happened earlier. I mean, seriously, he's had so many surgeries that you wonder how he's been able to do it this far. But we find out that he has to actually go to Cedars-Sinai. I've been there. I was there when I was on the ranch. I had to go there myself. It ended up being all right. I'm still alive. I'm still here. Anyway, so he goes there, and they have to do this kind of, you know, whatever procedure where they have to actually look inside his body, and they find out because of the surgeries that there's some bleeding there and it looks to be healing up. He's fine, but remember, whenever you go to the hospital, the first thing they give you is an IV full of salt water. And so he's going to get salt water right there in those veins. It means he's going to puff up just a little bit before he gets back to the house. And sure enough, he actually ends up talking about that with his son, about the fact that they had to fill him up with fluids. But while he's away, we've got a challenge. And surprise, Michelle is from last season's winner, Michelle. She shows up to fill in at the challenge and talk to the contestants about the balance that they have to achieve. That's a pretty good tie-in. I have to give that to him. That's a pretty good tie-in, because the challenge is actually to stand on a balancing board with ropes underneath the board, okay? And so over time, they're going to take away each of those ropes, and whoever stands there the longest gets a 1 pound advantage at the next weigh-in. So what does it come down to? Well, slowly the contestants begin to fall. The final 3, the last 3 are Nicole, Kristen, and Sione. In the very end, it's Sione. He lasts the longest. He gets the 1 pound advantage at the weigh-in. Good job to Sione. And then we go to the weigh-in. Right off the bat, who's the first person to weigh in? Nicole. Hey, it's a new environment. She should knock it out the box. Oh my God, Nicole. She gains 5 pounds. Again, on the press call today, she said, you know, it was that time of the month where, knock, knock, she had the little visitor come visit her, you know, and so she think that contributed to it as well as the stress. I personally think she was sabotaged. I'm telling you, I think she was sabotaged. I'm telling you. I think she was sabotaged. She was too big of a threat. Anyway, you didn't hear that from me. So she's obviously at 5-pound weight gain, she's in trouble. And we see a couple other contestants. They have average weeks. But how's Michigan doing? Helen does great. Ron does exceptional. And, Mike does exceptional. And Ron, because of all of those fluids, he has an off week. He has an off week. And so below the yellow line, the ones that are up for elimination this week are Nicole and Ron. They're up for elimination. Our Michigan team is up for elimination. And so they begin to talk and, they begin to plead their case about why I should stay, why I shouldn't go home. And in the elimination room, it goes back and forth between Ron and Nicole. Each of the votes go back and forth until it's down to Kristen. Let me tell you, these contestants are thinking with their wallets. They're thinking with their wallets. Anytime a threat that big comes back to the ranch, you want to get her out of there as soon as possible. Now, the other contestants have talked about how they thought that Ron is really controlling the game behind the scenes. He mentioned it himself, and so there's some of that in there. I think that it probably would have been a better strategy to vote him off, but I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, hey, we can get the big guy somewhere down the road, because him and Mike, they're a great, strong connection, so you got to watch out for them down the road. In the end, at the end of the day, they vote off the biggest threat. Nicole is going home. Bye-bye. Think about that. She came on The Biggest Loser for 1 week, many moons ago, got sent home. She comes back on The Biggest Loser for 1 week and gets sent home. Whoo, what an emotional roller coaster. I tell you, every time you appear on this show, you go home. That's rough. That's a rough. Then we're going to see her again at the finale, and she's got to go home. Oh, my God, that's just rough. But she handled it, the whole thing, with such grace and elegance. Even when she goes back home, she goes to the bridal shop, and she tries on a size 12 dress. Whatever that means, I'm a guy. I do understand she used to be a size 24 and she's down to a size 12. So that's like half. That's awesome. That's amazing. But she's just handling it with grace and just sophistication. So I got to give big props to her as well. Listen, I've got some more news for you. Jillian has said publicly she doesn't know if she's coming back to the show. The reason being, all of this catfighting and all of this stuff that goes on, it's kind of wearing her down. That's what she's gone public and said. So we know that NBC is casting for trainers, and it appears that's more than just to mix things up a little bit. It looks like Jillian may not be there for next season. We don't know. It's still in negotiations. But she's literally has said that all of the things that have gone on have really brought her down. And we know that it started on season 6 with Heba and Vicky and all of that bitterness. And we know that it continued over with Felipe and Sione and all of that stuff. It has really just started to drain her. Oh my God, I'm going to cry already if I'm not going to have my Jillian on TV, Whew. Anyway, tune in next week for another great episode of The Biggest Loser. Check us out. Listen, May 12th is the finale. All right, May 12th. Next episode will be like 4 weeks from the finale. It's about time for you to challenge yourself and do something great these last 4 months leading up to the finale, just like the contestants are going to do. I'm going to tell you guys more about that next week. This is Pete Thomas, winningman.com. Check us out every week at the Going Gonzo blog and here on mlive.com. Have a great day, and remember, there's a winner within you. Talk to you soon.